Hey guys, welcome to 10-Minute English with May. We have already finished talking about the 5 types of reading passages in the SAT test. So remember, if you're in the States and you're still taking the paper version, this might be helpful for you. I will continue to make videos on the updated versions in the following few months. So today we're going to take a look at the writing and language section, and I will take you through one passage and show you how I do it. So I do understand it is writing language, so it's not so focused on your reading skills, but it is still essential for you to read the title. Why? Because title often includes the topic and it tells us the author's tone or attitude. Compost, don't waste this waste. So this is persuasive in tone and it strongly supports recycling compost, right? That's what we can get. And the second place we should check is our thesis statement, which is usually the last sentence of introductory paragraph. Okay, so let's get started. Over the past generation, people in many parts of the United States have become accustomed to dividing their household waste products into different categories of recycling. Paper may go into containers. So right away, do you see different categories? You should use a different color, different categories, and then you see paper, glass, and aluminum. We're going from general to specific. So for a transition word that indicates general to specific, a change in scope would be, for example, recently some US cities have added a new category, compost. So this is where you have to really start paying attention because this is our topic. Organic matter, such as food scraps and yard debris, like paper or glass recycling, composting demands a certain amount of effort from public in order to be successful. But the inconveniences of composting are far outweighed by its benefits. So do you see how the title tells us he supports composting, but now he's saying it's so inconvenient. So we're looking at a problem. And whenever there's a problem, you should be prepared that there's going to be a juxtaposition of solution later on. Most people think banana peels, eggshells, and dead leaves as waste, but compost is actually a valuable resource. So do you see how she or he is addressing misconceptions? Like, it's not waste, it's useful. When utilized, so we're talking about the benefits, right? Practical uses, utilized as fertilizer, provides nutrients to soil, improve plant growth, deterring or killing pests, preventing plant diseases, enhances soil texture, encouraging healthy roots and minimizing, or our verb, something the need for chemical fertilizer. So we know it is taking out the need. So it has to be eliminating, right? It's not annihilate. You're not trying to wipe out a whole generation or village. It's not ousting. You're not trying to expel someone, right? And of course, closing the door is usually closing the door on someone's opportunities. Okay, so eliminating the need for fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, better than soil at holding moisture. Compost minimizes water waste and storm runoff. And of course, whenever you see a parallel structure, so you might be wondering, how do I know there is a parallel structure? Well, you see comma and. When you see a bunch of coordinator commas plus and or but, you need to prepare yourself for parallel structure. So it should be increases. Why? Because we have parallel between minimizes, increases, and helps, our compound verb. So, number 4, in large quantities, well, we see which is a relative pronoun. And if you remember, this relative pronoun starts non-essential adjective clause, which can be enclosed by 2 inserted commas, two parentheses or two dashes. And since there's already a dash here, we want to choose B, which is another dash. Okay. And number 5, the writer wants to include info from the graph that is consistent with the description of compost only. Okay, so which best accomplishes the goal? So in spite of all compost potential uses, however, do you see there's a transition before we're talking about positive, now we're talking about negative. Most of it is wasted. So that is, again, coming back to the problem that we need to change. According to EPA, over something compost ended up in US landfills. So if you go to the graph, right, this is talking about solid waste, but which one is compost? Hey, it's the food waste that is the compost. So that's like 33, 34 million, right? Nearly 30, 35, probably. So do you see how for number 5, we are looking at D. So a lot of students make mistake because they don't know which to look at, but you have to know this is focusing on compost, right? Along with 13 million tons of yard debris, remarkably, something was discarded in landfills in that year than any other substance. So again, what is our topic here? Our topic is compost. It is food waste. So of course, in this case, we're focusing on food waste or compost as well, right? The most relevant, the main idea needs to include your topic, repeated keywords. Okay, so more food waste was discarded in landfill, including plastic or paper. Even worse than, so I hope by now you know that for comparative better, worse, ER, or more, they need to be paired up with THA and than. So A and C are wrong, and you never use comma in between. So it has to be B. Okay, and number 8. So I can kind of start skipping around because I see number 8, this is just a verb. For verb type questions, you want to first look at subject-verb agreement. Where is your subject, right? That's why you have to watch the other videos on phrases and dependent clauses so you can isolate your subject for these questions. Number 2, you can look at tense, and last but not least, active versus passive. But in this case, what is your subject? Well, cross out your as a result. That is a transition word. Cross out that is sent to landfills. That is your adjective clause, which is intervening expression. Organic material, which is your singular subject. So contributes, all right, to the methane, a very strong greenhouse gas. So when we're talking about strong gases or maybe strong potion, we have to use potent. Okay, sturdy is used to talk about maybe table. Table is very sturdy, meaning it doesn't break easily, right? It stands very well. Okay, and I'm assuming you guys know influential and commanding. Okay, number 10. Which provides the most effective transition from previous paragraph? So a transitional sentence, there are some indicators that it could be a possible answer. So whenever you see words like this, that, these, those, the, such, plus now, that is a good indicator that it's referring to something before, right? So if we take a look here, we see that these facts and this setback. So before, we do see graphs and statistics saying the 13 million, the 33 million tons being wasted and how there's a lot of methane gas, right? So these facts would be more likely. But in order to make sure we know the right answer, we need to keep reading to see if it transitions well. It is a transition after all. So cities have instituted mandatory composting laws requiring individuals and businesses to use separate bins for compostable waste. So do you see how this is a cause and effect relationship? Because we have facts on problems. That is why we implement certain policies to reduce the problems. Pardon me for the typo. Okay, so that is why we should choose C. Okay, and of course, I'm going to go to number 11 directly, the sentence, because this is conjunction. So, however, given the clear benefits of composting and environment costs of non-composting, all municipals should encourage their residents either, this is paired conjunction, so either or, so we can choose A right away, right? And that is how you do writing and language. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.